LVMH to sponsor the Paris Games. Sponsorship amount 150 million euros. This is a really interesting one, actually. So let's break it down. So the jewelry brand Chaumet will design the medals for both the Olympics and Paralympics. Moet Hennessy wines and spirit labels will provide their products as part of the game's hospitality programs. Sephora becomes a partner of the Olympic torch relay with activations for the public along the route. LVMH's fashion brands Louis Vuitton, Dior, and Berluti will all promote the games. LVMH will also directly support individual athletes with swimmer French Leon Marchand landing an endorsement deal. LVMH will also expand its community work to include sports-focused programs. So, those of you that don't know who LVMH is, it's the parent company that owns Louis Vuitton, Dior, and all these larger fashion brands that the world consumes at a very high pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts of such? It's really interesting deals the way they've incorporated all their brands into the different aspects of the Olympics.
Well, I mean, look, it's a hometown Olympics, so
Yeah,
obviously when you pay in a number like that and you've got multiple brands, we've seen this before with Procter and Gamble when they've done big deals, and you take some of your product brands, your Gillettes and and the like, and utilize them into a partnership. They do that with the NFL very very well. Again, the Olympics is a big property. We've seen Louis Vuitton enter into the travel case for some of the trophies. I think they've got Formula One. They got the Monaco Trophy. They've got the Larry O'Brien Trophy. As a couple of examples, entering into sport. This is one that really allows a company to cleverly activate their their lineup in a home Olympics. Obviously all of them make a lot of sense given how they're being utilized. And so it's fashion, there's travel, there's fragrance and design and all those kinds of things. So the Olympics is a great canvas for them to showcase as a hometown, a home country brand, and brands, and but also continue their support and their involvement in sport from a sponsorship standpoint, and actually takes probably some of the lessons they learned through those relationships with Formula One and the NBA and apply them here. And again, who wouldn't want a medal made by by Louis Vuitton and having kind of makes it a little bit special. It's a great tie-in. Obviously, it's a great number. And when you get to numbers like that, and you're dealing with a a brand with multiple, or a company with multiple brands like that, it lends itself to the buckets, the marketing budgets from each of those sub brands to activate into the market or utilizing the rights of the five rings, and so it puts your activation team to work, and again we get to see some a lot of different brands at play.
absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see them execute things, and I think it'll create a ton of hype on social media outlets,
Yeah.
and I think it'll be a really big one for them because those brands are
And Marchand
naturally
and Marchand's an ASU swimmer, so he's one of our boys from the desert out here. So pretty proud of him with what he's done. Leading up to the Olympics, just shattered Michael Phelps's last record this past weekend. So
wow, interesting. All right, keep going. This one's a big one. ESPN in talks with NFL, NBA, and MLB over strategic partnership. Wow. So, just a small summary. What's happening here is the ESPN is talking to those three leagues, about being strategic investors into their media business. Um, because so what's happened is Bob Iger and 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 their president Jimmy Pitaro have met with all three leagues, and they're seriously considering this. Now, what's led to this? Um, I think the falling cable. I think the declining revenues at ESPN. I think the cost per acquisition per subscriber for ESPN Plus, and the bloated, ridiculous broadcasting rights expenses or costs in today's world. The NBA is coming to the end of their league, their deal with ESPN, and from my understanding is that he's come out publicly and said that it's ESPN as a whole could be for sale, but now we're hearing not as a whole, at different aspects of it. So this is your world, of course.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, again, I think you touched on a couple of the trends that are really, key to, that results in a conversation like this. One, you're seeing the total shift uh, of the model, of the subscription model, that ESPN for so many years was able to kind of just book it, on households, and now the shift over to a more cost-effective streaming mechanism. And in some cases, the streaming is not just it's not sports focused anymore. It's just entertainment focused, and people get their sports content, from a from Twitter, from Instagram, and from TikTok. They get it in nuggets, as opposed to I'm going to sit down and watch something. And the only way they're going to be able to you know match rights fees, or at least kind of have you know significant discussions about rights fees, is that you know they've got you've seen the layoffs, so they're trying to control some costs. They're trying to you got to be strategic on uh, what type of broadcast package you get. What are the advertisers going to be able to do? But again, uh, if you're not able to, if the numbers don't pencil out to offer the rights fee that the league is asking, then maybe the next best thing is to, if you can't buy the rights, sharing the revenue on the overall deal. Again, go to them and make them partners. Have them, because I think at the end of the day, the NBA and NFL, and maybe not the NFL. I mean, I think because the NFL doesn't have the guaranteed contracts like the NBA is throwing out. But they would be smart, and as to become partners, and share in revenue upticks, because the advertising could still be there. It's just that they need to have the content, and the cost of the content may just be massive. And so if you get something that's reasonable, and that's something that you can put together a guaranteed rights number that the league can feel good with, but then also they've got an upside, much like Apple and MLS have this upside on their subscription model. um, then it makes a lot of sense. It puts you both in the position to work harder, work together. Maybe the league office is a little bit more engaged and involved in load management. Hey, I want our players playing more because we're invested more in the revenue. People aren't going to come to games. People aren't going to watch games. Advertisers are going to see numbers go down, and that hurts us all, kind of thing. So kind of see if they're willing to put a little skin in the game, but it's not necessarily a risk as much as it is, hey, we know there's going to be upside on this. So we're willing, if you're willing to have a lower rights fee on the front end, there's a rev share on the backside that not only probably gets you whole, but in the long run, that probably makes you more money. Then that's a strategic, play that, I think, makes a lot of sense for both league and for, and for ESPN. Obviously, Iger's talked about possibly spinning them off of Disney, given just letting them be a sports brand again, not a Disney as a whole has suffered a little bit with their movie launches and stuff, and sometimes I think of Blockbuster, how successful they were as a standalone company, and then they went underneath one of the studios and just cratered. All of a sudden, they didn't anticipate that the movie studios were so focused on just the movie making part of it. They just totally missed the fact that we were going from videotapes and rentals to right to Netflix and streaming. So, but
Yeah.
at least here there's a little bit more awareness, the types of conversations that should be being had or are being had right now, and it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously, with a couple of those league rights fees coming up, it'll be quite interesting to see what direction they go, because Gordon Gecko and said greed is good, but maybe in this case, it might need to take a back seat and be a little bit more pragmatic.
Thank you very much, Rob. Take care, everyone. We'll catch you all next
All right,
week.
take care.